to tie Donald Trump to that DNC hack. Remember that one? It involved and resulted in the resignation of Debbie Wasserman Schultz. This is what the new interim DNC chair, Donna Brazile, said in a statement. Here we go. There's one person who stands to benefit from these criminal acts, and that's Donald Trump. Not only has Trump embraced Putin, he publicly encouraged further Russian espionage to help his campaign. Ambassador John Bolton is here, scholar with the American Enterprise Institute. What is, Mr. Ambassador, the Trump-Putin connection, if any?
Well, I don't know that there is any connection. There have been a lot of remarks made around. I just come back to this hack. It's not at all clear to me that it is a Russian hack of the DNC. Now, don't get me wrong. I think the Russians and Vladimir Putin in particular are perfectly capable of thinking about doing it and doing it. But based on the information we have publicly, there's no guarantee this was not a false flag operation, somebody else doing it and leaving signs to point to the Russians. It's not true that the hack could only benefit Donald Trump. I mean, really, if they can pin Trump and Putin together in the American public's mind, Russia doesn't enjoy a high level of popularity. There are a lot of factors at play here, but I'll just close again by saying, do I think the Russians are capable of doing this? Sure they are.
There's another development which is far more serious, and that is the State Department, their spokesman, Mark Toner, you're going to see him in a second. He says the nuke deal could be making Iran's behavior worse, more aggressive. That sounds like a big admission to me, Ambassador.
Well, we'll see if they walk remark back at the noon briefing today or walk Mark Toner out of the building looking for a new job, because if that's what he meant, it was a rare burst of candor. I think there's no question that the Iranian negotiators took John Kerry to lunch and cleaned him out entirely. So there's every reason to think that they are encouraged by the deal, that their behavior is becoming more belligerent, more assertive, both cheating on the nuclear deal itself, increased support for terrorism, greater efforts to establish regional hegemony in the Middle East, because they see the administration right through to January 20 as weak and inadequate. And they're going to take advantage of it, and so are all the rest of our adversaries to the extent they can.
It just reminds me of 1979 when the Iranians poured scorn on President Carter and had a direct effect on the election of 1980. That's what it reminds me of. Mr. Ambassador, thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate it, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Stuart.